What's up? I'm going to try my best to be concise. If you know me in person, you know that is not my strength. But a lot of people, when they found out, or not, I don't know, that they don't know what D.I.D is and how it forms. And it's so fascinating. The brain is so interesting. So I've made myself a whiteboard, and I'm going to attempt to explain what D.I.D is in the most concise way possible. So buckle up. So when we are a youth and we are born, this is our brain. Doesn't it look like a brain? So this is a brain. And then when you're born, you basically have, and I'm going to use the word personality or parts to best describe. So you have basically all these different parts of yourself based on like genes and shit, I don't know, like who you are, right? As a baby, this is like fresh out of the womb. Apparently this happens early on too. So when you're developing as an infant and growing up into childhood, your parts, like that's why we get, like, little kids are so emotionally dysregulated and they don't really know who they are, but that's why, because they're separate still. And when you grow up, they kind of come together, and by kind of I mean they do. And then you are one part, and all those little parts of you, like you like baked potatoes, you like to sing, you dance, like all those things kind of come together to make your personality. And I know that's like a very layman's term description. I feel like that's kind of an easiest way to describe it. Like you become one person as you age, right? But in a trauma state, so here's the same brain at birth. Let's say you have your parts, right? And trauma happens. So for me, we developed D.I.D and we're on that trajectory on like 2 days. 48 to 72 hours is what I've been told. So I have all those parts, right? And let's say that a trauma happens. Sometimes the parts just stay separate. Sometimes, like, especially when it's severe, and that is not to say that not all trauma is worth it, but like, just, ooh, I'm trying to eat. I had a hard time doing that today. So anyway, a trauma happens and it fragments, right? And then you continue to grow, and these are all fragmented little parts that they're not able to come together. Like for me, because they were already fragmented, they were super not able to come together. And so as you age, like with each trauma, it's like creates another part. And so as you continue to be traumatized, you're going to have all these different parts. And so the way I best describe it is almost like every trauma basically creates a part, unless it kind of was already within that part. Let's say this part right here endured a lot of like sexual abuse. That was just one of the examples that came out of my head because we have all the trauma. So this part is the part that kind of it goes to endure all that trauma. This part is not going to come together with the other parts. None of the parts are, because they're too traumatized. So I think I was explaining that not so well. So then you continue to have all these parts as traumas happen, and they create their own almost like parts of parts. And so you have like parts of parts of parts of parts of parts. And the more trauma that happens, the more parts get created and chaos ensues. But they're all created for a purpose, right? So like for this little buddy right here, they are terrified of things. So it almost is like maybe they are little and they need a protector. They're gonna create a protector, and sometimes they're like attached. So like a lot of the littles will come with protectors already because that's kind of what's needed to happen. So for us in our brain, I'm gonna put this down because I feel like I did a suffice job doodling it. But like for our brain, it happens so young that like there's an infant who loves to cry, and then there's Lila and a few other littles like Hattie and all of them. They have Rita as a protector, and they are created like that. And then for us, the traumas are held in our Tuesdays, and it gets a little bit confusing and a little bit chaotic, but it's fun because then you always have friends and your friends are protecting you. And so different parts will happen for different things. And like, I don't even know what's happening. So I think we're filming a video on what D.I.D is. You got a good example of probably certain other things happening. Bye.